Oh, yeah. Well, that's my breakfast you just saw. Pretty much every day. And lunch and dinner if I'm here. But I pretty much make Jay, you don't want to be called J Box, but J Box, I make him breakfast and a really nice dinner like I made last night. That kind of showed you that. It was a nice vegetable casserole. And he don't want to be called John, doesn't want to be, it's, and I have more things to talk about than him, right? So I'm going to switch into the things I wanted to talk about this morning, but I kind of got hijacked. And so things seem to be going out of kilter. You look at MSNBC or CNN or Fox or NBC or CBS or ABC or any of those, and they're all owned by the same guys. So it's just like Hearst and Pulitzer, they were what were known as yellow journalists, meaning there wasn't a war they didn't like or love. There wasn't a catastrophe that they couldn't, take advantage of. If it didn't bleed, it didn't lead. And that is a characteristic of the mud puppet. Gets the mouse. Yeah, man. So, but all of that a number of times. Let's see. No, no. Red ink. Okay, James. Gotcha, babe. I'll give you all address. P.O. Box 1165, Vinton, Virginia. Vinton, Virginia 24179. And every homeless guy and gal out there should get a P.O. box. Then people can mail you stuff, But otherwise, I am a homeless guy, so I go not hang out because I have to, but I have my rounds, meaning I go. So the mission here, right, in Roanoke, they have the homeless mission. And back in the day, it was kind of set up to, help people who were basically traveling through. This was a railroad town, it was for hobos and such. But then it became institutionalized, and they wrote grants, and they make 50 grand a head for every homeless person. So they have maybe 300-400 homeless people over there, and they don't get meaning to, get someone out of being homeless. They need a home, not just a bed for the night. I mean, that's nice when it's really cold or But if you have to sleep in a hallway with 3 bunks high, and the whole place you're in smells. Remember how your middle school smelled after someone vomited, and they would bring up that green stuff and sop it up? Well, that's what the mission smells like all the time, along with a really heavy dose of chlorine. Industrial strength chlorine that would, it's got the skull and crossbones on the, 10-gallon jug of the stuff that they wash the place with. And so if you're a homeless person, you can't go in before 5 o'clock. They march you into the industrial temple where you have to praise Jesus. And then you have to, go over to get your bologna sandwich. And then you go to bed. And then around 6:30, 7 o'clock, they wake you up, march you into the industrial temple, praise Jesus, get your bologna sandwich, and they kick you out by 9. And if it's 19 degrees below zero, big deal. They don't care. You could sit in in where they had the bologna sandwich and stay warm, but they don't do that, right? And it's not that they don't heat that space; they do. But so the homeless people really have no place, and as work, I mean, they could teach them something. You know, that they could get their GED there. They could do a lot of things. PO Box 1165, Vinton, Vinton, V, not M, Vinton, Virginia, 24179. 24179. PO Box 1165, Vinton, V as in Victor, Inton, VA, right? Anyway, so they could teach those guys something, right? Um, but they get them training just like through a Goodwill program, where Goodwill basically pays the individual $7 an hour for 20 hours a week. And they make them work 60 hours a week, but pay them for the 20 because it fits. You know, you want this, well, go. And the kind of jobs they're being trained for is to unload trucks, right? When I was at my worst, when I had metal clamps on my leg and I walked with a walker, and I went in and I helped write them a grant for the program. And the lady who ran it, I knew. I went in there and I had to fill out like 40 pages of, personal information, which they would then monetize for grants. And I walked from the place that I was having them write this stuff down. And the woman who was doing it came from Lexington, and she had to drive from Lexington to Roanoke and do this job, right? And they paid, and again, it was training, right? And she had a college degree. She was in her 60s. Her husband died of cancer, bankrupted them all. She had to go live with her sister up in Lexington, who was younger than her and treated her poorly. Said, you thought you went to college and you had this job in a bank and you were an executive, and look at you now, you're homeless, right? And that was from her own family. And she had to drive all the way from Lexington to Roanoke, and Goodwill would not pay for the gas or the wear and tear on her car. And she had to fill out this paperwork for people. And she started to cry, and I had to, and they paid me $7 an hour for 20 hours, and they don't pay me for driving from Lexington, and I spent 60 hours on this job, and I just get after taxes, $135 a week, and then I have to spend 40 of it on gas, and that's where we're living right now. Yep, Vinton, Vinton, got it. And any little gifts that you guys can send me, and you do, and I really appreciate it. And send them in a regular envelope. Somebody sent me a fancy envelope, and they frigging opened it, right? And I said, what about this? And they said, oh, it's not a standard envelope, right? And I had to pay for it because I had to inspect it. And I had to pay them $1 for them to open my mail. But somebody sent me a gift, and it was, at least still in there. So just send me legal things, because these morons could be, like I said, people have an eye on me, and that's okay. Hi. Bung ho, yes, wasn't that amazing? But that's my everyday with J-Box, He'll drink a couple of coffees and come down, and you should have seen him before he came down, because he was very sweet with a bung ho rap. But the first thing in the morning, I just kind of woke up, still in pain, and I got both barrels, and it was unbelievable. But that's every day. I mean, it's not unfucking believable because it's every day. And he's my friend, and he's got, he has no one to talk to. And you saw me there, just listening, asking a pointed question, but it just doesn't he just keeps going. And but again, JB, that's what I'm calling him, JB, right? That's his name, JB, John Birmingham, JB. And if you go into the annals of literary, go look up the play JB. When I was in high school, I produced that with our literary teacher, and she was the theater teacher. Right? I mean, I made the theater department, but you needed a teacher, so she was it, and she was good looking. And her husband had a breakdown, so he left the scene, but she stayed there at the school. She was, there's 360 young men at this prep school, and she was the only attractive woman. The headmaster's wife, oh man, she looked like a cornerback, like a lineman, a 48-year-old lineman. And she was, yes, Beavis and Butthead. But not quite. It's more Al, Bob, and JB. Not Beavis and Butthead, because unless JB is both Beavis and Butthead in the vernacular, meaning he's not them, but he speaks of them. Where I'm trying to speak of this and a ramble of many things to get you guys involved and talking, and like you are. And but JB just represents a certain emotional context of our monetized society of when we are first fertilized as an egg, we're all girls. We all start out as women, and those that get the blast of the X, become men. And so, hey there, Marshall. Eminem, one of my favorite musicians is Eminem. But he's a rapper. No, he's a great rapper. He is amazing poet. He is a bard, and that's what Eminem Martin is here. So anyway, our whole everything looks just weirder and weirder. I mean, we got the winter apocalypse, and everyone's talking that it's global warming. I wish. Because the droughts and the fires in California aren't man-made by frigging, exhaust from cars. Now, exhaust from cars ain't good, but the CO2 of the exhaust of the car is probably the best thing of the exhaust. The lead, the mercury, all the heavy metals, and the zines. Gasoline is a highly energetic fluid. And the zines, if you're pumping gas, you should just turn it on and walk away, because not only is it extraordinarily volatile, I see people lighting cigarettes while they're pumping gas. It's like, okay, I'm going to drive away. But standing by, you don't have to just breathe this stuff in. It goes through your skin. Our skin is permeable, but the zines of gasoline, benzene, benzene, there are all these zines, and they are like super volatile, meaning they will go through any porous material, your clothes, your skin, your blood, your bone. And I would say, and no one will do. I used to work at Sloan Kettering, and I would do their little graphs and their statistics and look at the trends. And I'm always looking at going back tonight, beyond the 19th century, and look at, you can look at when there are volcanoes. And there are a number of volcanoes, since, Pompeii, let's say. I mean, that was the worst case scenario. Everyone gets covered in soot, ash, and lava, and is like baked, and it's like being in the instant bake oven, and kept for eternity until people like ching 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 cracked them out and saw what happened. So that take it from there to now, and the planet does. Where do volcanoes come from? Basically, they come from the sun. Who knew? Well, Diamond of the Oppenheimer Ranch knew, and a few other folks who do some really good work, but nobody listens to them. They're just all these chuckleheads who go on and on and on about global warming. And if you look at the statistics, we got computers. We can put things on top of each other and see. And we have been in a pre-ice age, for the good last 10 years. Yes, we have a day or two or a place that is super hot, but usually it's not coming from, what people don't understand is about weather. If you're spraying anything in, from ground level to 50,000 feet, well, it doesn't stay up there. It really doesn't affect the environment. I mean, it does in a particle way, a little teeny thing that blows around and you breathe it in, or it falls down on the ground and gets in the ground and the groundwater. Yes, it has a nasty effect there, but it really doesn't change the weather. The sun changes our weather, right? And if you were going to spray anything to have a long-term effect, you'd have to go above 60,000 feet, because otherwise the stuff gets blown around so much it comes down, right? But up 80,000, 100,000 feet, that's almost space, and that's where it would stay there. And so, like, if you had a nuclear winter, right, or a volcano, the explosion is so massive that it shoots all of the material up that high and then covers the earth, and then you have a nuclear winter, or like they had in Europe in the I think it was the 15th century, where London, the Thames froze for a year. Pattern into what did I do to make it? That's what I hate about this, and I can't see anything, and I push something on the screen and it makes the message go away. Anyway, 18 minutes and I haven't even got to my point of view, and what I wanted to talk about. But you guys are talking about a lot of stuff, and yes, Jamie, J-Man, you're all the bomb. That's what I love about this chat. You're not like, oh, no, you're all so different. And you all have different points of view. And you're like a salad bowl. All those different flavors come together. And it's unbelievable, Especially our evening chats. Later, once I, maybe I'm having to end up do 4 chats a day. But no, I'm going to try not. There's only so much of JB. Because, like he says, he wants to make a new thing, and so we'll do whatever on that. But anyway, so brain salad surgeons. That's all of us. Yes, we are brain salad surgeons. Yeah. And I like a salad rather than, it's a melting pot. No, that's Velveeta cheese. Salad bowl, all these separate flavors on top of each other. And you eat, ooh, that's so tasty. Italians do a great job at it. It's called pasta and antipasta. Anyway, so we are being made through our media on every level to think the world is worse ever, right? If you look at statistics, more people being fed, more people being educated, less wars, less violence in the United States, less crime, because everyone's getting older. when in the '80s, when there were lots of youngsters, and and the economy was way worse, you know, but the economy pretty much stays no matter what. It's like depression, recession, boom or bust. It kind of stays the same. Rich get richer, poor get poorer. Pretty much that's the way it works. Jethro Tull, yes, you did. Jethro I liked him. That whole genre of like '63 to mm, '83 was pretty amazing, you know. But pretty much the industry has always been, controlled the media. Like I said, Hearst and Pulitzer, there wasn't a bloodbath they didn't, despise. But the powers that shouldn't be are trying to push the human race. I mean, we're already off the cliff, but look, we pushed them off the cliff, and they haven't fallen down at all. So they keep doing things, and it's a very small group of people who are doing that. And so, and wasn't that electric? Oh, bless me. I have to put on my little shampoo here. When you have shaved head, all that heat goes right off the top. So, so there are all of these outlets, and JB is, why I let that go into just turning it off, because it was a great example of venting in an outlet in a, that's pretty much every day that 2 or 3 times I get that if I'm here. And when I wasn't here from May 1st until the second week of October, when I was in the deep green, when you only got an occasional postcard from me, um, JB was here all by himself, doing his own juices. So he truly understands, when he's really out, but he don't, haven't really been thrown on the bus since the 1st of May. Because he realizes, hey, I make really good food for him that's healthy, and I do all his errands for him. Like I went and got, stuff from the mailbox and every other thing. And, that was, ooh, I'm surprised. It's been a long time. Mine too. All right, Jamie. Stand corrected. There, a X. Yep. Second power. Yep. I like those guys, the Electric Light Orchestra. They were pretty good. And like I said, that whole genre of time of music was quite interesting. And they keep occurring, back in the '20s, jazz and bop and all of that was pretty amazing. And during World War II, all of the guys like Bing Crosby and every music type has guys who do a great job. You can't say, oh, that kind of music, like people go, heavy metal, that sucks. No. Would you guys think, ELP were metal, right? You think so? Electric. Let's see. Okay. And this really is a ramble. We are rambling. Tarkus was beginning metal. Anyway, I was not a big kind of guy. As you could see by JB's my story on JB channel, my program on JB's channel and my latest program being the story of Joni Mitchell. That was kind of, anybody who, sang a song that touched my heart. And like I said, Elton John, a lot of his disco stuff, you know, um, it was fun to dance to, but his Mad Man Across the Water album, and especially Indian Sunset, the best. Let's see. That was the, the, I worked at the East um, Fillmore, Fillmore East, and they had a show. They had 3 or 4 bands, and you came in. The show started about 8 o'clock and went till like 2 in the morning. And that was great. And it wasn't just one band. It was, and they were all really good. Uh, no, no. Let's see. You will love time. That's in dust. Oh, Joan Baez. Yes, yes, yes. I love Joan Baez. And Buffy St. Marie too. And Joan. What was the other J one? Judy Collins. All 3 of those girls. The best. The best, the best, the best. And I was very lucky to see all 3 of them perform, where I'm standing right next to the proscenium watching it. That's the best place to watch a show. The Eagles were great. I really loved them. No, you don't have to be born 10 years ago. You can live that life starting today, this minute, no matter what you do. You saw, um, what did I call it? Breakfast parody. Well, you could, how can I stand that? Well, I do it because he's my friend, and what makes me happy is that I can help him go from rage and self-destruction to at least kind of laughing about things, and maybe at some point I can get a thing in there where we can drive the bus in a forward direction rather than a circle. And I couldn't do that 24/7, but every, once or twice a day, and to help my friend get into a better place, yes. So that's how every day in every way, we take the peace and love of love's co-creation and make it stronger. We're all similar in so many ways, and that is the beauty of all our relations. Bizarre, and life is bizarre and poetic. It's what it is, and that's how you live life to the fullest. You don't have a lot of money. I mean, I'm telling you. I between 2008 and or maybe well, between 2004, maybe even earlier too, I went for the hedonist life and living like a desperate lawyer. Fancy cars, had more money than I knew what to do with. Bought real estate, started businesses, bought anything I wanted. Oh, look at that! I'm kind of stuck there. And we're back again. People try to break this up, but they can't because you're there and I'm here. And that's the beauty. The internet was designed by DARPA, really originally ARPA, to survive nuclear holocaust. So the military and and again, it shouldn't have just been the military-industrial complex. It should be the military-industrial education and banking complex, right? And that's what's ruling our world these days. And it's not, nation states. We have this oligarchy, transnational, cabal, and we've had it, since, um, back in the, you know, Egyptian times, you know, where money magic was invented, you know. So you don't need any of that. You just need yourself, your empathy. The thing that makes life really fun is empathy. When you can feel what the other person, why, you know, I asked JB what, you know, what was love? You know, and he knew to say, because he knew we were on the live chat. You know, he said, I don't want to be on live chat, you know, so he has to think about the things he says. So he went to a stock answer. Oh, it's not selfish, you know, and it's like, you know, Orwell's, you know, newspeak, you know, everything that you hear, you know, like no child left behind, guaranteed. Every child's going to be left behind, you know. Um, War on poverty. That's right. You know, they're trying to kill the poor people. War on drugs, meaning, hey, let's bring more drugs in. So I asked JB, so what's love? And unselfish. But that's, you know, not the main thing is empathetic. You know, he then said, it would be really great to snuggle and kiss and hug and, you know, but not sexual. The thing about love is empathy, you feeling the other person more than yourself, right? And well, being the vehicle for love's co-creation. Yep. Love is compassion. That's right, Jane. Right? These words are, and that's why words are so important. You know, why I try to parse them, um, because I want them. It's like bing, tuning fork. You know, you get that vibration. So it doesn't matter what time you're born into, because there is no linear time. It's all bing bang. You know, it's what you do with that experience. Uh, I don't even above a rent check. Yeah, but you know, I spend a good $300 feeding them, and taking my car down and you know, and I did. I used to pay him a rent check. Still didn't make a difference. You know. And the only thing that makes a difference is when I'm not here, and he realizes that he's all by himself, and he realizes all the things I have to do. You know. You know, he doesn't get the kind of food that I cook for him. That's for sure. And he's all concerned about, you know, his weight and this and that. And you know, I give him really high, you know, vegetables, meats, you know, nothing processed. You know, he wants the food all to come from our co-op, which is a joke because it's the same food that the supermarket has. They just charge 40 times as high. I spent $40, 40 on 3 onions, 4 sweet potatoes, a little, you know, he says, oh, I love the food from the co-op. So I got him a little salad made of tofu and a few other items. No more than 6 items, $40. I mean, 38.95, right? Where I went to the supermarket and I bought 2 bags of pears, like 2 pounds of pears, and 2 pounds of grapes, and chicken. You know, I bought a big thing of chicken. You know, I want to have chicken so I can make it right. Bought a turkey. I bought all the fixins, um, celery, escargot, parsley, onions, sweet potatoes, and lots of them, for $52, right? And then I went and got other stuff for him for about $200. And, you know, I helped him clean up his upstairs, and I fixed his, whatchamacallit, his dishwasher. And, you know, he gave me $87. So I spent about $200, and he gave me, I don't know, another $60 for unsunderaries, but I spent about $200 on everything, right? And the gas and the this and the that. And again, it has nothing to do with him being the landlord, and no, you know, because I used to work as a shrink. I used to do this exact thing: stay in someone's home and take care of someone, right? I used to work in a hospital with folks who had similar, modality of life, you know, and I would get paid because I wasn't a, salaried guy. I was a contract guy. I would get paid between $800 and $2,500 a week, right? So it's not just rent. And like when I did pay him rent, it's like, well, and I'd rather go live in the deep green and freeze to death, you know? I called a few people there. It's like, ooh, really cold there now. Yeah, it's beyond words. Yeah. Uh, and I get tired of talking about JB. Our conversation should be more focused on a global issue. I mean, he is the greatest metaphor of what's going on in this world. I mean, everything is there, right? And so I guess when we talk about it kind of deals with the subject, but because it's so personal to me, it draws me into um, discussing, things that are just the minutia of life, and that's why I, let the, breakfast parody run, because it shows it right there. I don't have to say anything. It is what it is, right? And last night, I let it run because it showed exactly what it is. I mean, he wants to be, okay, it's not him. The human condition within the construct of monetization, meaning value only comes not from one's worth, but what is reflected from the market, right? And JB on every angle, so that's why I let those two fly, the one last night and the one this morning, because I don't have to say anything. I don't have to really deconstruct or discuss or get out a textbook to look at any specific, just like, take a look. And equally, when we are honest, that reflects to us. So all of you guys there, watch it, because it's a little bit of Freudenscheidung. You know what that German word means? It means getting pleasure out of watching people's suffering, right? And so, JB really does, he goes on, he's always going about Jew fart, or, so there can be, and he told the story about me losing my pants. I mean, that happened 2 years ago, really, that's, of all the things that we've done together and experienced, I wouldn't put that at the top 10. I was getting thin. I was wearing a pair, these kind of, right now, here, let's take a look at this. This is a pair of shorts that were sold at Walmart's, and they were 25 cents a pair of shorts, because they are not just small, but really small shorts. Nobody bought them. They just wanted to get them out of there. I bought like, $4 worth of them. And as you can see, I can fit into them. So those shorts that fell off of me were like 3X, and I was like losing weight, and so they fell off. And instead of JB coming over and help me, because I had a bunch of stuff in my arms, if it fell, it would have broken, and I didn't want that. And the door of the hatch back of my vehicle, the little hydraulic things have broken, so it weighs 50 pounds. So, and I can't lift my arms above this. So I had to take a piece of wood, and all JB did was this. He didn't come and help. It was me. Let me give you a hand. but there's never a thought of that. Never. And I don't think, I mean, I do, 100 things a day for JB, and I don't monetize them. I just do them, and I don't even tell them. I insulate the place. I turn off all the electricity. He keeps complaining about his electric bill, and I turn everything off. And so I have this analytical mind, so I analyze everything. I measure everything. I still have an emotional self. And so living in this toxic environment, and I kind of have to, because I have no place to live, I have a great art form of living on about $400 a month, but that wouldn't even touch rent if I had to pay rent in the place. And I have no credit, zero, zilcho. I sell everything, I have nothing, and I probably make, if you were to look at every penny I have every year, maybe $6,000 a year. Yes, 4 times 10 is 4,000, and then 8, so that's $4,800. Yeah, that's 6,000. And I look pretty good, on that. Get around, pay for my medicine, pay for my doctor bills, only because I empathize with everyone who takes care of me. I take care of them. The doctor comes in, he's upset, this happened to him, I help him breathe. I've taught everyone in the hospitals I go to how to meditate, all the way up to the top. The guy who runs the medical school here, I wanted to talk to him about something, so I looked where his office was, hit the elevator button, meditated for a second, waited, walked out of the elevator, walked down the hallway, walked to where his office was, and walked straight into his office. And he was like picking the navel lint out of his belly button. His assistant wasn't there, his secretary wasn't there, the security guy at the corner wasn't there, all the other official office people, none of them were there, because they were right at the moment when I was like, okay, go now, Al. And I walked right in and closed the door behind him and unplugged his phone. And then said, oh, who are you? And I said, let me look at your palm. And I read his palm, and it blew his friggin' mind. And then water means cleaning the water. That's right, meaning cleaning your soul. We are these bags of water. Yep. Mm-hmm. Growing food, you really have to have total control. If you just kind of, cut up your back lawn and trying to grow vegetables, not so much. It'll be as poisonous as anything else, because the shit's coming out of the sky, the ground has been destroyed. You got to do raised beds and a greenhouse, because you've got to control the water, the air, everything. If you want that plant to really be nurturing to you, you have to nurture it. So back at the hospital, I talked to this guy, and we had a great, amazing conversation for about 15, 20 minutes. And then all hell broke loose. The security people came in with guns, like they thought terrorists were in there. And the guy goes, what's wrong? And they goes, sir, are you okay? I says, oh yeah, this is my new friend Al. He read my palm, and he's telling me all these great things about what we need to do. And and they said, sir, stand back. We have to take this man. He is a threat to your life. And he goes, what do you mean? No, he's a great guy. He told me how I should, deal with my children, and he's right, Sir, please. And the security lady, was about to touch my arm. I said, excuse me, don't touch me. And she had 2 big thugs behind her. So, well, I can have them touch you. I said, so you're head of security, aren't you? And I just kept getting her. And anyway, I read everyone's, like the security, when she said, I got these guys here. And I looked up at them and I said, hey guys, put your hands up. Let me read your palms. So they did. I read their palms too. I did. Well, he's cool, man. And everybody who could have been a real threat to me, and the people who I couldn't change my mind, I ignored completely. And the little lady who thought she was in charge of everything, because I didn't even listen to her. She didn't exist to me. She had no effect. And because she couldn't tell her thugs to beat me up because I read their palms. Anyway, that's how you have a good day. You don't have to wait for 10, when it was groovy. It's like Donnie saying, let's make America great again. No, within his construct, America was never great. You know, I'm going to bring back jobs. Not really. Ford and GM just got rid of close to 30,000 jobs, and then you put all the suppliers, etc. Right? Let's see. Summer go all be bad after time. No, you can't eat gold. You can't eat bullets. You can't. I have loads of friends who are preppers. Now there's, I keep, a couple of weeks worth of canned food in my car and a really good can opener and about, 5 gallons of distilled water sealed in my car. And yeah, if I'm someplace, get stuck there, I've got enough food for a week or so, which is usually enough time to say which way is the wind blowing. So, I have little caches here and there, but I have no guns, you know. I don't need a gun. Gun, if you statistically look at it, the ownership of guns, that's not evil. You can have a gun, not a problem. But you know what the biggest, they're talking about, oh, we have to, all this crime and criminals have guns. You know what the biggest loss of people by a gun is? Suicide. Because it's immediate. You're gone, unless you really just blow out the side of your cheek or something. But if you do this, you're see you later, bye. And that's the thing. Or if you do it to somebody else, it's pretty much that's the bad thing about a gun. It's designed to kill something or someone. So if you don't have, when I worked at the housing authority, and I was, made to be. They wanted me to be a cop-ish person, but no, I was conflict resolution. And I went around looking like this, shorts like this, flip-flops, and you could see I had nothing, no gun, no radio, no nothing. Now, but my partner, she was out there, she could kill you 20 different ways. I remember one time we went to a court, and she had to, get rid of her weapons, right? She had her uniform on and said, okay, you gotta leave your weapons. And she said, no, I got, no, everyone has to. So she had about 5 guns. She had those stars you can throw. She had swords. And I mean, she just, it was a gigantic pile of stuff. So why did I need a gun when she could, she was like an army. And, she stayed outside. I went in to negotiate. If I couldn't, I would say, okay, there's a really pretty girl out there who's going to take care of business. I'll see you guys later. And normally, I could negotiate things to a peaceful, kumbaya. So that's why I don't need a gun. And I was in a place where, all hell was going to, break loose and probably 5, 6 people would have died. So I stepped in front of the gun and got shot. Now, all these people knew me and cared about me like you guys do. So when I got shot, they freaked out, dropped their guns. Oh, wow. And luckily, I got shot right there because I put my hand up. No, it didn't break a vein. It didn't break a bone. It was what they say, in and out. And I hardly have a scar. I got a few little dots there. But, luckily it was a 22 and zinged right through there. But that broke the conflict. So, and things aren't even at that level of conflict. I mean, our media is so stoking this tribalism, but still, we're not tribal. We have been so domesticated, we're still sheeple, So, only a handful of people really get riled up. And you can talk to them. I talk to them all the time, and they kind of realize that, oh, I shouldn't be so upset. I had a bug out for 20 years. A nice thing, perhaps. Here's some local children. Yep, and that's what the best thing about life is, helping others. Yeah, and whenever the corporate, see, our real problem is that we live in a corporate world, capitalism is not a bad thing. It's supposed to be competition on the economic stage. So why didn't all those banks go down? Why did we have to pay $40 trillion? And why didn't anyone go to jail? How come, Mr. Diamond didn't, Bill Diamond or Dave, whatever that guy from that bank, when all those bankers, they just got bigger, um, bonuses. This is true. Time travel is, and you can do it yourself. I mean, your Akashic record is time travel, gang. You can go any which way you want to go. Strictly for me. Yep. So I've told this story before. When I got a job when I was in my early 20s as a newspaper photographer. A buddy of mine became the photo editor of this newspaper. He had been the photographer. And that guy died, and so they offered him the job. He offered, hey, you want to be it was like being Batman. He was Batman, I was Robin. And I got down there, and the first thing I shot was a lynching, and that was like a real comeuppance. And the second thing I shot, photographically, was a murder. In this town, they didn't have their own CSI. They needed a real CSI. They had the State Bureau of Investigation come in, or the FBI. And they didn't even have photographers. So us newspaper guys, we would take pictures of sites like that. And this town was a pretty affluent town, a manufacturing town. So everybody, I mean, it's right in the middle of the South, North Carolina, High Point. And everybody, that's when I realized racism was actually the smokescreen of class, because everybody worked in the factory. It was all unionized. Everybody got paid the same thing. Everyone drove the same Buick. Had a nice house, kind of. They lived in two different sides of town, but both sides, what was truly interesting was the black high school was better than the white high school, because when Brown said, hey, everybody, everybody got to have, so what was the high school became the black high school, because all of the white people who didn't want to go to school with blacks went off and went to private schools. And the rich people had a pretty good private school, like prep school. The poor people, went and studied in the basement of their Baptist church, and all they got was Jesus comic books. They didn't fare too good. They didn't really learn how to read, arithmetic. Whereas the black guys, they all went to college. So, bottom line about that town is. So the first thing I shot, other than that lynching, meaning this black person was accused of something, like touching a woman or something, and the people, just strung him up, and the cops were there to help. They didn't take him to jail and say, no, this guy's got to go to court. No, they had this tree in front of the courthouse called the EON-word lynching tree, right? And how they did it was, they barbed wired, they took all the clothes off except his little undies to really embarrass him. Then barbed wire to the tree, put a noose around his neck, threw it over a limb, tied it to the back of a truck, and pulled his head off. And the only picture I got was of the crowd going, woo! I mean, there had to have been, 500-600 people. And, all the police were there, and no, right? And I did not take the picture of the head coming off like a tick. I basically was like, because I said, what did this guy do? Just at the point where everyone was like quiet for a second, they kind of looked at me, and the police chief said, boy, better go, because he was with me and I was taking notes. And so I got the pictures of people, woo, and left. Next thing I shot, I got a call in the evening by my buddy, because you got to go to this address, and you'll meet Sergeant so-and-so. I said, okay. So it's summer, it's hot, I'm wearing shorts, flip-flops, t-shirt. I drive up in the, they gave us, if you were on call, you drove the newspapers, support LTD. It looked just like the Men in Black, the thing that could drive on the ceiling of the tunnel. Anyway, so I kind of drive there, I get out, and I look around and there's this one guy and he's not doing anything. And I say, you Sarge? Yes. And he goes, oh, you're the new guy? I said, yes. He goes, he kind of takes a breath. He goes, so have you ever seen blood? I said, yeah. I said, you know. He says, well, this is a murder scene, and I need you to photograph it. I said, don't you guys? I said, no, no. And then he explained the relationship the newspaper had with the police. I said, oh, okay. And I'm about to walk in the house. He goes, no, 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 no. He goes, go in my car, and in the trunk are some waiters. Well, the only waiters I knew were guys with a tray, right, and brought you your drink. And I go in there and I'm expecting some guys, you know, with a tray in his trunk. But no, there's a box and it's those things you put on, like big rubber boots that come up to here. And they were whiter than white. So I put them on and I walk in and I'm thinking, well, whatever. And this goes to your comment about having a shotgun only for meat. Well, there were four brothers, right, who had worked in this factory and they had this little house. And it was Friday night, so they bought a lot of booze and got drunker than a skunk. They got into an argument. They all had their shotguns, like, you know, in their lap. I mean, these guys lived with their shotgun. I mean, about that time, you drive all over the place. Everyone had a pickup truck, you know, had, hey, you know, an armory in their back window. They were just showing everybody what gun they had, so better not mess. Anyway, so I walk in there, and these guys went at each other at point blank range with their shotguns, and there was head over there and arm over there, and you know, guts obliterated against the wall. I mean, it was a frigging bloody mess. So I start taking the pictures like you know, I was Ouija, you know, like this and this, and the guy is at the door and he's shaking his head. And I go, what's wrong? He goes, no, no, no. Over on the table, there's a box. In it, there are these little plastic numbers that go you know, on tables at the restaurant. Well, we got them. What I want you to do is take, you know, it's like 1 to 100, and take and put those things down. And he pointed. He said, that leg over there. And so you start at one end, and you 1, 2, 3, 4, and go all the way around. So we know where you started, where you went, what all those numbers were, and we can catalog that, and we will know, you know, before you start traipsing around everything, what it looked like before you solid, you know. So he was a detective, even though he had the stripes there. He was a smart guy. Anyway, I did that, and he was like, do this, and, you know, I didn't question anything. Because I had no idea, I never did this before. So he's like teaching me, and I'm a smart enough guy to listen to someone who's teaching me. So I did that, and he then goes, come in the back, turns on the hose, because this white thing was just covered in blood. I mean, just, and, you know, took him off, kind of did this, and he goes, just see that branch there? Just kind of hook him up over that. About a few minutes of it to drip dry. And I'll hit it with the hose later if there's any more cook. He goes, you okay? You clean? How you feeling? And I go, I feel okay. He goes, well, no, you need a piece of pie. I go, I do? He goes, yeah, the guys here can cover this. Get in my car. We'll go. Where are we going? We're going to go to the Pink Teacup. And I'm just new to the town. So he drives me into the black neighborhood to this restaurant, Pink Teacup. Go in there, and the food smells like grandma's, like Mama's, like just, yeah, this is where I'm gonna go. We go in there, and this lady's got every kind of freaking pie you could imagine. And he goes, hey there, ma'am, how you doing? And she goes, oh, Sarge, how you doing? Okay, we're here. She goes, I know, for pie. So she looks at me. She goes, oh, are you the new boy at the newspaper? I said, yes, ma'am. I mean, I've only been there less than 3 or 4 days. And everybody knows me. I have no idea who anybody is, but everybody knows me because I stick out. You know, I'm wearing these orange pants and Hawaiian shirt and some, you know, they okay. And and I carry my camera around my neck because it is the Mapers. I don't want it stolen, lost. It's, you know, so I'm like keeping all my equipment. If it's not locked in the trunk, I got it on me because there might be a picture. And that's what a real photographer is ready to shoot at any time. And that's what's good about these phone cameras. You're ready to shoot anytime, but still most people miss everything. But anyway, I'm sitting there and he's telling me stories, and he's a griot. He's really telling me stories about, his boy, what the town's about, blah, 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 what I need to know, who I need to know, how I need to do this. And then he goes, this woman here, she is the best. Come here anytime. She's open all the time. And she goes, not really, son. I'm only open here. The door is unlocked for the public, from around 5 until around 11:30 at night. I said, oh, okay, good to know. Anyway, so she brings these two raw rhubarb pies. Never had rhubarb pie in my life. And it's got not just the rhubarb, but raisins. And this is where I learned you should put raisins in everything, because that way you don't need to put sugar in it. Anyway, this pie is like, heaven. Right? And I mean, and the thing I like best about it the most was the crust. It was flaky and chew. It was everything a crust is supposed to be. It was just wow. And she has the best coffee. I mean, I really got to be a coffee drinker in that place. My mom was a coffee drinker, but she was like, had Senka. This was real freaking coffee. And so, have that. And she goes, and she put a big, cover the whole thing in whipped cream that she was whipping up so it would be fresh. Not out of can, right? And so I finished that, and that was great. And then she comes with a slice of hot apple pie with ice cream, vanilla ice cream on top, and whipped cream and some chocolate syrup that she has always warmed on it's like the 3 pots of tea. And she has all different kinds of chocolate back there, just heating up. And so I said, another pie? She says, oh yeah, we're just getting started. So I had the apple pie, and yes, we were just getting started. And then I had coconut custard, which was like my favorite. Anyway, I stopped at the coconut custard. She was ready to give me a slice of every pie. She said, I like this boy. Anyway, she started complaining about, she had a big Hobart mixer, that she made bread with. And it wouldn't go to the right speed she wanted. And I said, oh, ma'am, I think I can fix that. And I didn't have any tools, right? So I unplugged the thing. I took the thing, the cover off the control panel. And it was just, crap stuck into where the little notches were, And I got a little paring knife and just cleaned out all those little notches, put the thing back on. And she goes, it runs better than when I got it, because she bought it, I got it from the dumpster guy. And there are speeds that I could never get it to work. I said, yep, not a problem. She goes, I really like you. Anyway, get in the car with a cop, and we've now spent 2 or 3 hours at the Pink Teacup. And so we're going back to where the scene of the crime is, and see how everyone's doing it. And I'm gonna get my car and go. And anyway, I've spent a good 5 hours with this guy from the moment I walked up. And as we're driving back, his name's Bob, I have to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you were a real human being. I mean, the whole experience, you could have been, it was like a Sunday evening. You don't want to be there like I didn't want to be there, but you had to be like I had to be. You were both on call. You did your job. You did it really well. You taught me a lot of stuff. Plus, you said, go get those waiters. You could have let me walk in there in flip-flops. And because blood was everywhere. And blood is slicker than snot. And I could have been flying through the air covered in blood. And he goes, yeah, some people might do that. But no, I'm going to have to work with you a good deal. And A, I knew you didn't know anything. B, I saw that you were totally ready to learn how to do it. You weren't going to tell me, oh, I know what I'm going to do. You said, yeah, yes, sir, and learned. I could see you learning. And to me, that's a good partner. Now, you and I are partners. That's why I took you I don't take everybody to go to the Pink Teacup and get pie. You're now my partner. I'm going to see a lot of you because we don't have a photographer. Your boss is always going to send you. I knew that. That's why I had you wear the waders. That's why I told you how to put the numbers down. That's why, and you listened. You're a good man. So we had this amazing friendship because he was actually the most powerful, important police officer in the freaking county. Because he wasn't an officer up here, and he wasn't one of the chuckleheads below. He was the one competent guy they had, and everybody knew it, and everyone deferred to him, and he had been doing it for at least 20 years. And everyone had, you know, in the whole town, if you were with him, you were in the aura, the glow of this guy's, everyone respecting him. I mean, wow. And he took me around to meet everybody. And once I got the seal of approval by the Sarge, you know, and the mayor, the guy who was head of the court, the judges, district attorney, everybody in between the top to the Sarge, you know, and part of people would say after a while, "Oh, you're Sarge's partner." Well, I had nothing to do with the police. I worked for the newspaper, but they would say, "Oh, you're Sarge's partner." And those are the kind of relationships that matter. And this town, you know, you went outside of the city limits, and that was North Carolina, 1968, 69. It was woo-wee. So, and I had long hair, you know. There were a number of times that I got because I got so comfortable being me. I thought High Point was like, no, High Point was not the rest of North Carolina. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Let's see. Yes, or it's going to be like, see, it doesn't matter whether they get eaten by the Walking Dead or they're in their bubbles, just like Zardos. Zardos, I keep telling you guys, go see the movie Zardos. A couple of you had, and go, yep, that's what it is. And it doesn't matter because the people who survive are folks who have community that are in, you know, a cadre, you know, that people like to be with. And, you know, we don't have to wait. You know, people go, am I going to go to heaven or hell? Well, I just look at them and say, well, you're already there, baby. Because people are either, like you guys, loving, empathetic, and you're in heaven already. You don't have to wait until you die. You're already there, right? This planet is heaven, you know? And it's when you go to places that are, you know, pretty much untouched by humanity's corporate greed, it's pretty amazing, you know? And there's still loads of places that are beautiful and very fertile. Yeah. Yeah, knowledge definitely trumps a shotgun. Like I said, anybody want to interview, no problem. Just set it up. Give me a phone number to call. Or show me how to connect with this device. I mean, if it was easy as doing a live chat, not a problem. Because I want to get this word out. I mean, the word is out there. I just want to connect the dots, you know. I want people to feel the wave. And you guys are, and you're throwing the pebbles in yourself. I know you are. I feel it, you know, every time we do a night meditation, I can feel all your chi grounded and your prana flowing. Yeah, 7 o'clock, right? And Brandon, what do you do at work? Oh, UGGFD up pre MP. What the heck does that mean, Miss Jane? Yes, crock pot. I'm a firm believer. I bought this crock pot at the Goodwill. Again, I bought that. It was almost. They took it out of the box. I got it for $1, and I bought a crock pot for like nothing, and I have it cooking um, all day long, 24/7, and whatever we don't eat for breakfast or dinner, I throw in the crock pot, and John eats all day long. Now the thing that I made a, I got these roasted peppers. I love roasted peppers, but I should have tasted them. I cut them all up and put them in there, and it's like the hottest thing I've ever had. I mean, it's like almost too. It's too hot. It's hotter than hot. And I keep trying to add things to it to mellow it out, and it's not really. There's something in there that just I don't know where that came from. I think I might just have to chuck it and start anew. Turmeric, cumin, garlic, black, red, live beans. Yep, that's it. That's my major what I buy, right? Take a break. Yes. Where would you like to go to, Janie? Any place where it's warm and has a beach. South Florida. Well, I've been going there forever. Right now, I don't have the money to even buy the gas. So someone come and get me, and I'll take you to I have loads of friends down there, and loads of places to go that are unbelievably beautiful. And even today, right now is the best time to go to Florida because the Canadians haven't descended. They might now because it's so ridiculously cold. But, and, the ocean isn't going to rise over Florida. It's that they're just pumping all the groundwater out. Vancouver. I love Canada. I've misplaced my passport, so I don't think I'm going there anytime soon. Unless somebody invites me, gets me a visa, gets me to go there as a lecturer. Yes, come and get me. Please come and get me. Please come and get me. Please come and get me, please. I mean, we can go to the deep green. It's still, I mean, it's going to be 70 tomorrow, And when I left, so there are a number of properties, not right, not close neighbor, but close enough where I see these people a bit. And this one guy stopped and came in, and he was like, "Are you robbing the place?" I go, "No, this is my place." I've just moved in. But he, had his gun with him and was ready to shoot somebody who was robbing that place. He thought it was his responsibility. And, instead of me getting in his face about it, I said, here, let's sit on the porch here and tell me who you are. And anyway, so he told me his all stuff and, Anyway, he was like freaked out about, he came from a city, so he was freaked out by the bear's going to eat me. I said, only if you go cover yourself with honey, and then they probably just lick. Anyway, it's people's misconstrued ideas of what things are. So I would come and go, I'd have to come back. I mean, really, the only thing that brings me back to Roanoke, two things. My concern for JB, and wanted to check in on him every now and then, even when I was, so the time that I was away from May 1st to the second week of October, I came back 4 or 5 times and stayed 2 days, no more. But I did it, A, to check JB, but also I had my eyes operated on every 3 or 4 months. I have other procedures done to me every 3 or 4 months. Every 4 to 6 months, I have a total, I go to my endocrinologist and he takes a gallon of blood and, make sure everything's kind of working pretty good. And so I do that. And I have all these guys wired in to a place where, they take care of me. I take care of them. They're my friends. Now, where I live in the deep green, they don't have the quality of doctors. And in the 2 counties that I'm surrounded by, they have no doctors. zero. They have zero health, zero fire, zero, any kind of EMS. No 911. And that, in the next 5 years, is going to become 60% of America. And we spend more money on emergency services and healthcare than the rest of the world combined. Sounds familiar. I know a lot of. Yep. All our relations. Have you seen Jade Art by? I like Jade Art, but I haven't seen that. Oh, Cambridge, Ontario, and all over Canada. Can't recall. Let's see. The Tri-City area, Cambridge, Waterloo, all those crazy English towns and French ones too. Amazing. Use Jade, yes. Oh well. Intent is 99% of it. If your intent is good, so you get bad data. And, that's why I listen to everything, that's my training. Listen to everything. And then put, the dots together. So people, Linda Moulton Howe, Jim, he's a Texan who just died. I forget his last name. Joseph P. Farrell, Catherine Austin Fitz. You go to any of those websites, Disclosure in the Desert, or any of those conferences, the Ozark Conference is pretty cool. And just go watch all of their stuff. And, you tell by your heart, the intent is good, listen to the info. They're full of crap, but even still listen to the info, because within crap, about 60% of the information is valuable, so I listen to everything, You saw me there this morning listening to JB, even though I've heard it a trillion times, because I'm trying to energetically help the guy out. Planet Earth, paradise, yep. What world we've... Yep. Yeah. We're living in a prison country, can't get out. I mean, they're building the wall not to keep the Mexicans out, but keeping us in. Coral Castle, that guy's amazing. He moved the whole thing. This amazing sculpture he had, took him years to make. And he, his neighbor gets more and more pissed off at this because he can't do it. He's just a curmudgeonly guy. And he has his property surveyed. And he realized, the survey shows that the Coral Castle sculpture, has a centimeter on his property. He takes him to court, and the judge, the guy says, well, look at this. And it's, X amount of tourists are coming, it's making the city X amounts of money. This is the guy who made the Coral Council. I'm just an old guy, nobody helped, real funding, it'd be nice if the city gave me a little money, kind of like me. He's like their version of Sensei Al Bob. And anyway, the judge says, well, the law is the law. Well, that's bullcrap, because I've worked for desperate lawyers. I've been in the corporate world, and the law is whatever money says it is, right? So he goes, well, you're going to have to move it or tear it down, one or the other. And the guy, and when do I have to have it torn down or moved? And the guy gives him next week this time, right? So it seems not, this guy doesn't bring in big construction work, blah, 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 blah. No, he's just, just standing there. The day comes when um, everything has to be moved. And, so the guy's got the police and the DA and the judge there. And our Coral Carol guy has moved it over like 10 feet. The whole thing, this gigantic shark. And he did it like, how did he do that? He did it because up yesterday it was like a centimeter on this guy's property. Now it's over there. And that is the real amazing thing of Castle, is that guy did that. So he did what the Egyptians did. Has anyone been to any of the Egyptians' pyramids? The Valley of the Kings. You look, and it's not just those three pyramids. They're pretty amazing, but there's a ton of stuff there. And if you go looking at it, like the Sphinx, I was there when they kind of dug up a couple of feet, more than a couple, but the base, they wanted to see what the foundation was. And they kept going down and down and down, and realized that the Sphinx were put on another thing's foundation, right? And when they dug around that, they found out, they took scrapings and stuff, and they found that the dirt and stuff that was there came from a rainforest. So that whole area of the desert there used to be a rainforest, right? And they found that underneath the Sphinx, they went in these other buildings, they kind of dug down and found, yes, a lot of that stuff was built on someone else's foundation that were billions of years old. Meaning went back to a time when there was a rainforest there, and that there was a city there that had 1 million people. Oh, they don't talk about that. Just like they don't talk about St. Louis, where St. Louis is, there was a indigenous city there of millions of people. They want you to think that the Indians were like cavemen. No, they were way more sophisticated than, the Europeans. The Chichen Itza facility was a astronomical facility, and its process was more sophisticated than the crap that we got. They saw things, measured things, and knew things way past what modern science of the 1980s was. And a lot of the stuff that we have now has been re-engineered from these ancient sites. One of the reasons why we went into Iraq in 91, because the French and the English had found more stargates, and we, or not we, but the powers that shouldn't be, wanted them. So they sent the American army in there, and not only that, they wanted to, good old Saddam wanted gold for his oil, so they had to slap him on the wrist. So they blew up all of the military. He had nothing, atomic bombs. No, I mean, he had a beginning of a program when we went in there in '91, and we obliterated everything. Right? We took out 90% of all his tanks. I mean, the only thing we left him was weapons that he could kill his own people with. Right? Couldn't threaten us, couldn't threaten our allies. The only people he could keep threatening was his own people, which he never really did, unless you said something nasty about him. Otherwise, he was smart enough to leave everybody alone. If you wanted to have a business selling nuts, you could, right? And he didn't take a cut. Let's see, where are we? Yes, levitated blocks. Yep. Okay, come and get me. I'm out. I jump in your car, Jamie. Like I said, check out what we have to go through. I got a valid driver's license and a social security card, but I don't have a birth certificate and I don't have my passport, because both kind of, all the times I've been thrown under the bus, that paperwork got thrown asunder somewhere. Who knows? I've been looking for the last 6 months for those things, and every time I try to go and try and get one, the process of doing it is so arduous that the people here, like, if you want to go to the mission, you need your birth certificate, and you need a whole bunch of pieces of paper to get into the mission. They just don't take people who are cold and put them in there. You have to go through this whole process. You have to go through a city process, and then a county process, and then through the same thing with goodwill and all of those things. So, I can't do it. I don't, have it's a post office box, and you can't have one of those. You got to have a more substantial, mailing address. So anyway, I do have a driver's license, and I do have, things like electric bill, and you know, but not what I am now. I haven't paid, but this electric bill is from like 8 years ago. But hey, it's got my name on it. Kind of, the utility company thought I was this guy. I mean, and these are legal things, you know. Anyway, yeah, Molten House, she is the best. People diss her because she goes to these conferences where people like David Wilcox are. Dave's okay. You know, he's got a lot of good information. A lot of it's distraction. A lot of it's this. I mean, all of this stuff. Where do you think the information comes from? It's leaked by the powers that shouldn't be to, send people down rabbit holes. Linda is the best, or one of the best, because she's coming from her heart. She's not coming from her ego. She's coming from. If you ever hang out with her, she is. You can feel this aura coming out of Linda, and the other thing, she's been at it long enough, and she's not just stuck in a box. She's not just looking at animal mutilation. She looks at, you name it, she does it. One of the most important things that we need to be looking at is crop circles, because they're shamanic, they're energetic, they're you know, um, coming from many different places, not just ET, but dimensional, you name it. And if you go there, so I used to live in a place where there were a lot of, in England, a lot of pop circles. And when I hear about it, I tell everyone, hey, if you hear about, give me a buzz, put it on my answering machine, or tell me, you see me, stop me, tell me, hey, it's over there, let's go look at it. Because if you can get to a chop circle, um, within a week of it being done, you will. It's like doing LSD. Energetically, you'll be. I mean, you will be in a state of ecstasy. You will feel like your body is full of ambrosia, not just a spoonful. And so they are very. And so she's been there, and she's gone all over the world, and not just. She does. She produces videos. Not just for Guy or sci-fi or History Channel, but for lots of other people. So she has gone and been what a real journalist is supposed to. She has been documenting what's going on in famines and all kinds of things, right? And she is a shamanic, psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic alchemist. She is like part of the club, right? So if you can get to go see her, do it. And she is like in her 70s. She is still hot and amazing shape because she climbs mountains and does all this stuff. She's yeah, yeah, yeah. Acoustic levitation. That's one. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, this is very true, Mr. Jamie. These are the biggest problems we have: illusionary ignorance, lack of real knowledge of self. Again, go visit my xratted blogspot.com. And anyone from Canada or anywhere else who wants to come and throw me in their car, take me to someplace warm, and I can crank out my laptop, and you bring one, and we can get all the data. I got boxes of thumb drives of everything I've written, and those I kind of took care of, made sure I kept an eye on them. And so that blogspot is set up to be, it's called Griot Press. I mean, not just me, anybody who's got something to write and publish on that. And if we worked together, we could make that something really special. And that could be, I mean, all the things I want to do are not only getting the spirit out, but once the spirit's out, the spirit takes care of you. So it's a revenue stream. You know, the basically the Humanities Artist Trust International. We make it a 501c3, so we don't have to pay tax on any of this revenue stream. We start the Institute for Aesthetically Adept and Appropriate Technology, so we can have access. You know, we can work just like I did for all of the, you know, John Hopkins, you know, Cornell, Columbia, all those scholastic institutions. They love entities that are like the Institute for Aesthetically Adept and Appropriate Technology because it fits right into their revenue stream. You know, they can commoditize it, and it gives them an access. They realize they need to be refreshed. You know, they realize they need. I mean, that's I've got employed for 30 years doing this, just being me. Now they've gotten a note from the head office that, oh, there's this little moment of disruption, so we're maybe robots are going to take off over the universe, and only the special few will become transhuman, or something else will happen, and then but they are getting to a point. I mean, that point of, oh, we're not going to do this anymore. They're like, uh-oh, we haven't done this now. When's the last time Al worked here? 8 years, 5 years ago. Oh wow, that's a lot of time under the bridge that we haven't been collating information that we used to make money at. Oh, and things are falling apart. See, the world isn't falling apart. Things aren't getting bad. We're not in, global warming. All this shit is being told to us to become fearful. Donnie got to be president 100% on ignorance and fear. And now he is such a clown that, so he didn't expect to win. He didn't break any laws. He's right. And he's like freaking out that this is the first time in his life that he's kind of been honest, and he's going to get barbecued for it. I really feel sorry for Donnie. Yeah, 10-ton block on a flatbed car. That would kind of get rid of the tires. It is LOL. Laugh out loud. Let's see. We'll catch the upload and rebound good. So Jane, you're off to do more cooking or do something more fun or whatever it is. You have a good, beautiful day, and all of us are with you harmonically, spiritually, empathetically, because we are all our relations. Later, Dane. True, the biggest part in New York used to have indigenous people there. You got it. And they still are. They're just called homeless. Yep, it's a sacred science. King's Cheaper, yep. Later, Jay. Yeah, we've been on it for an hour, 33 minutes. Oh, I got a story for that. I have a buddy of mine. I don't know where he is now, but he used to be known as Wavy Grave, and he was part of the Grateful Dead scene and the Fillmore scene, and so he's in New York, and he comes from a quite well-to-do family. And during the Vietnam War, he bought a chunk of Vermont that was right on the Canadian border, so people wanted to go to Canada and could just stay at his house and stroll into Canada, and that's the Wavy Gravy story. But it goes more than that because it's a long story. I will tell it at another time. So it's a bus ride. Come get me. Come get Esoteric Dragon. I'm sure there are a bunch of people. We can all put them on a bus. Actually, I got a school bus back from those days. You know, exactly. And Giza, it's what makes it. It's a reference point because there are other pyramids all across the planet, all over the place, in North America, South America, Ireland, England. They're everywhere. Uh, I got time anytime. Carl Munch, okay. Why people who are old are still attractive? It's not that like JB said, oh, you have to work out and eat the right stuff, and no carbs. No, your diet has to be everything, just in limitations. And everybody's body is different. Some people, a little bit of carbs is not bad for you. It helps you, break down certain things. If you're a meat person, well, you should eat meat. You know, um, but if you eat meat, you should do it respectfully, in that you raise it yourself, right? And you have that relation with that chicken or that pig or that cow. And when you slaughter it, you do it with respect, because you can buy it out of the supermarket. And if you do buy it out of the supermarket, don't buy, oh, this is organic. No, you kind of have to shamanically cleanse it and heal it. Then, give thanks, and then that's why we have grace. That's like the shorthand of what they used to do. Yep, I zap you. That's what you need. A priestess, wife, sister, friend. I've had a few. There are many ways to time travel, but that definitely is one of them. Uh, Carl Munch. I'll go look up Carl Munch. Yep, always the Native American jewelry. Yep, yep, yep. You'd love my bus. It is the bomb. It doesn't move. I've had it parked in the same place for 15 years, so it would need some. But I have a friend of mine who's a really good mechanic. He probably could get it running. It was running great when I put it there, but I'm sure the squirrels have eaten every wire and and all the rubber, everything. Oh, so where are you, FA? Where in VA are you? Are you near Roanoke? I'm in Roanoke. Oh, you're. Oh. The girl's in. Oh, the girl. Oh, yes, she should have been calling me. We got to give her a call. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we're at the yes. So Fish for Angie, you got my phone number. Give me a call. You're right there, so call me. Who knows about Michelle? You know, she's part of the folks who, the powers that shouldn't be. Sold it. Okay, Marshall. Okay, guys, we've been on there. I'm going to try and get a hold of my friend and see what she's up to, okay? Okay. Party right now off of Mason Knob Trail. No idea where that is. So call me. You know, I'm going to try and find your phone number, but call me and I'll answer the phone definitely, okay? Uh, yes, we can. Tonight. Tonight we will. Okay? Okay, let me find this girl's phone number. And again, if you're watching right now, which I think you are, call me. You got my number, so call me. I will a little later in the day. Okay. What are you doing a Sunday? Tomorrow Sunday is supposed to be 70 degrees and somewhat sunny instead of rainy and foggy right now. Like Mason's Knob, I couldn't even find it. I can't see. It's not good for me to be out there driving right now. Tomorrow, Sunday, sunny, 70. There is the Salvation Army church over in Southeast. That's a place you could find. It's right downtown. Um, or if you wanted to break bread, one of the interesting places to have a brunch that I can afford is the Holiday Inn near Tanglewood, right? And that's a place you could find. It's really easy, right off Electric Wood, right between Tanglewood and Electric Road. If you really want to be fancy smancy, the Roanoke Hotel has an amazing buffet. I mean, sound is great because I used to be able to go in there with like suitcases and take it away, but they don't let you do that anymore. So call me later, Miss Angie. Not sure yet. I'm surprised for a party, waiting for the guest. You're near Tanglewood. Okay. Well, if you're near Tanglewood, I might even come to the party. You're gonna have to call me and like zero me in there, and I'll come to your party. If you're near Tanglewood, I'll come to your party. You just kind of have to. I've lived here 18 years and I have no idea what the roads are named. So you're gonna have to zone me in. Come on this road, turn right, turn left, that kind of thing. And I haven't figured out how to do, have my magic box tell me how to get there. So call me a little bit. I'll come down. The other problem is once it gets dark, I can't see. Meaning I might have to sleep on your couch at your friend's house at your party. But anyway, I'd love to come to the party. Take care, everyone. High frequency time. And Miss Angie. We stayed on Electric Avenue last night. Okay. Would have been nice to have heard from you last night. I would love to come see you. But anyway, once it gets to be about 3 o'clock, I turn into a pumpkin. And this weather, if I could go down there. Again, interruptions. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Let's see, Jamie. Transsexual stuff. It's passing phase. Yes. In whatever phase you're in, who in their right mind, like I said, we're all born women and then we get the X blast and then we become a guy. Well, that blast isn't all one. So there's different flavors of people. So, if you were born any of this and then you're kept from it and then you try it out, who in their right mind would pick being gay if they could pick it? Well, I have a lot of gay friends. They're great. They're so gay. So much fun. But, and social norms, because once everybody realized that, well, my son's gay, or my brother's daughter is gay. And once we realize all the people we know who are LGBT, we start to realize, well, they don't have three heads, Yep, and that's what happens. Little ripple into a tsunami. So tonight, no matter where I am, we'll do our little mental visitation. Okay, and we'll do our meditation. And everyone, this was another great chat. And the thing I love, I just prattle on like your old Sensei Al Bob in the corner. You guys just go on amongst yourselves, which is the way it should be. And all things are as they should be. Okay, Miss Angie, I'm going to try and find your phone number and give you a phone number. Or give me a call or whatever. Uh, Jamie, you're the best. You all are the best. And so, what time is it now? Okay, I'm gonna out of here. It's 4:4:4. Love you guys. See you tonight.